I thought about doing YouTube for years before I actually started. And today I want to talk to you about why I think starting a YouTube channel is a brilliant idea, even if nobody watches. I've been on YouTube for over a year, almost a year and a half now, and I've made over 100 videos. But my first year was really slow to start, and I didn't even get 200 subscribers until after the first year. But I want to tell you why that's a good thing and kind of tell you some things that I've experienced with my YouTube journey so far. Before I started YouTube, I had so many reasons not to start YouTube. I kept telling myself, now's not the right time. I won't dedicate enough time per week to make videos regularly. I don't have any ideas. I had all these doubts. And I had fears too. I had fears of what are other people going to think of me? Are my coworkers going to see my videos? Is it going to get out there? And those, one of those things where you don't like hearing your voice on camera. You don't like seeing your face on camera. Everything's awkward at the beginning. So I had all these fears and all these reasons not to get on YouTube. The other thing is there's no instruction manual for YouTube. It's not like you know what you're doing when you start. Nobody has any, everybody's got to start at zero. So that was another challenge that I had was, how do you structure your videos, or how do you, what do you say? How do you form your thoughts, and how do you make your thumbnails and your titles? I didn't know any of that. Everything was brand new. So it was the learning curve was so high that it it was another one of those barriers that you just say, why would I do this? This isn't for me. This isn't something I can do. This is something that other people do really well, but it's not something I know anything about. The other thing about it is nobody's there to talk to you about it. Nobody understands why you want to do YouTube. If you try to talk to people, they don't understand the reasoning behind it. They think, oh, you're going to be a big shot YouTuber. They don't understand your reasoning behind it. And a lot of people will shoot you down and say that's a waste of time. And that's the funny thing about, I think we spend a lot of time worrying about what other people think about us. Even if we say we don't, we do. And we worry about what people think we want to do with our lives. And I think a lot of times we try to appease other people in our lives on career choices and, just things that we do in our lives. And so YouTube's one of those things that it's hard to talk about with certain people because they just don't understand why you would want to do that. Why would you want to waste your time? You think you're going to be some big shot YouTuber, and you don't have the ability to do that. And sometimes your closest people, your friends and your family, the closest people to you are the ones that will discourage you the most. And they're the ones that will tell you you can't do something, instead of saying, oh, if you have a dream about that, or that's something you want to do, you should pursue it. A lot of times I think they mean well. They don't want you to get involved with something that you're going to waste your time on, or you're going to fail at. But I think they mean well, but they don't encourage you the right way, I don't think, because they don't understand. But despite all these obstacles that I was facing, with people not believing in me or not even understanding what I wanted to do, and me wanting to do it and not knowing how to do it and all this, even despite of all that, I just said, I'm going to go ahead and do it. And so I started my journey. I started with a 30-day challenge, and the reason I did that was because I wanted to start getting better with the camera first. I wanted to start being able to talk to the camera But when I started, I was stuttering over my words. I was saying, and doing all that stuff that you do. I still do it, but I've become a lot better at it. But so I started this 30-day challenge, and I challenged myself to do a video every day and upload it to YouTube for 30 days straight. And the reason why I did was because A, I wanted to get better at talking to the camera. And B, I wanted to get on a consistent schedule. I've always heard, looking into YouTube, I heard consistency. So I knew that if I did it every day for 30 days, that it would be something viable that I could do, and I could set it into my, I could relax on the schedule after that. But if I could get through those first 30 days, I knew it was something that I at least wanted to try it and see if it would work. So I started with the 30-day challenge, and I just tried to get better at talking to camera. I didn't really have anything great to say. I just wanted to say things and try to get my camera work better. So that was the first step that I did when I started my journey, was let's just take the first 30 days and work on camera presence and speaking and all that. And so that's where I started. So once I got done with my 30-day challenge, I just started working on, getting a video out every week after that. And I started working on things that, I started with gear first, I think, and started working on, what setups I needed, because I had an old photography camera, old Canon camera, but it didn't even have autofocus on it. So, I tried to use that, but it didn't really work well, and wound up just using my phone. But I would buy, a gadget here or there to help me to start to get better with equipment. And then, the next thing was editing, and I started trying to do my editing a little better, and got to the point where I was doing things consistently, but I wasn't really happy with the results. It seemed like I was just kind of going out and saying whatever I said, and then that was it. And I didn't really have any substance. So I don't think I ever really had anything I was talking about, to be honest. But I just wanted to get better at YouTube. And after that, I started to learn about structuring a video. And so I got what turned me on to this was Casey Neistat's video, his channel, and how he was with the camera. And it gave me it kind of freed me on the way I was shooting. I was very, just up front with the camera. But I feel like after I watched Casey Neistat for a little while, I felt like I had more creative freedom than what I was choosing to do. And so that's when I really started to open up and started to understand things, in my style at least, in a different way, and started to structure my videos and have, some sort of segue through the video and what I was trying to say and getting my point across and all that one section led into another. And that's where I started to get that from. And I still use a structure now. I've actually created a PDF that you can download. The link is in the description. It's completely free. Just click on the link and you'll be able to download it. But it helps when you have, in a format, you've got your hook and your intro, and you kind of go through the problem and the solution and, resolution, all that to your video. A lot of that makes sense now, but I had no idea what I was doing when I first started it. And even the first couple months that I tried to understand it, it was very difficult for me to grasp. And then, of course, I'm still working on it. Everything is still a learning process. And these things help me to start to get to a point where I started to feel more comfortable with my videos. But even with all the challenges that YouTube brings and all the things that you have to overcome, I still think it's a brilliant idea to get on YouTube. And one of the reasons is nobody is still doing it. It's still an awkward thing. It's not something that's normal. And I remember, I'm old enough to remember when cell phones came out. And the funny thing was, before cell phones came out, nobody had a phone on them. So when cell phones started to come out and you saw people walking around talking on their phones, it was very awkward. It was a strange thing. It was like some people were showing off kind of, and then some people were trying to hide it. It was kind of, it was just weird. It wasn't something that people were accustomed to. But as we go with this YouTube thing, I think it's becoming more normal to see people filming themselves, but it's still kind of awkward to see somebody with a selfie stick. So right now, the opportunity to get in before the masses get in is still there. It's still very open. YouTube is still untapped in that sense. You know, the other thing is, even when you're at a low subscriber count, you're not getting a lot of views, there still are views coming in. And even though if your videos, you're putting them out and there's 20 views or 30 views, you're usually still going to get some comments from people. And you know, as you get bigger, as you start to grow and figure things out, those comments will become more and more. And what's awesome about those comments is that you start to hear from real people that you have influenced or that you have touched in some sort of way. The comments that people leave are really one of the most valuable things. One of them, you know, sometimes, like right now, I'm not monetized, so I'm not getting any money for YouTube, zero money. So one of the greatest benefits that I get is hearing from people and saying how, you know, I helped them get started, or, you know, I touch somebody in a certain way. When I get those comments and I'm able to see an impact that I'm making, to be able to help somebody, and I'm somebody that doesn't even have anything really that I feel like is worth contributing to society. But there are other people that maybe you've been through a traumatic experience, or you can help somebody with their marriage, or whatever, that you have some sort of a skill, or that you can teach somebody. There's something you have that other people can use, and this is a great tool, YouTube, to be able to reach those people and touch those people in their lives. You know, the other thing that I think we take advantage of where we're at in our lives with YouTube and social media in general, but really YouTube is, I think, the most powerful. But the thing is, I don't think we understand the power that we have with YouTube, where not ever has there been a time in history where this type of connecting with other people has been available to the masses the way it is now. All you need is what's in your pocket. You can press record and people all around the world can see it. And this is highly underrated. We don't realize how good we have it with this, where, you know, 20, 30 years ago, in order to be seen by people all around the world the way that this is possible, you would have to pay a lot of money to go onto TV and pay for, you know, public broadcasting. And that wasn't even really that popular, so you probably weren't going to do well on there. You needed, I mean, first of all, you needed a lot of money to do it, but the ability we have to get on our phones for free and record ourselves and be able to communicate with other people all around the world and build a relationship with people that we don't know is huge. So if YouTube is something that you think you really want to do, it's a great opportunity if you're willing to put in the time and the effort and learn and do all the things that's needed in order to make a successful YouTube channel. If you strive for it and you want to do it and you give it enough time, you know, a lot of people go to college for 4 years to learn skills. If you look at it that way, like you're learning as you go, YouTube is a great opportunity for anybody. So I appreciate you guys watching. And if you like this video, check out this other video. Thanks.